Welcome to Leadership Labs. I'm Louise and Maurice, leadership mentor and founder of the Academy for Holistic Leadership. We are continuing with my Get Results Confidence Coaching Framework. When you hear me say client, I want you to imagine the person or group of people you lead and apply the training to your real-world leadership situations. Let's continue. In Lab 3, you learn through interactive NLP-based activities. You practice human-centered leadership in action, applying emotional intelligence in real-time situations. All the resources I mention in this professional training are free and linked in the description below. Let's get started. In this lecture, we're going to focus on step 3 of session 5, which is all of 15 minutes, but a very important 15 minutes. Now, you would have sent the URL to your client, so they are familiar with the resource. But basic emotions, the trigger states you use with anchoring, how to feel more relaxed, more intentional for moments when you need to be confident, for when your clients need to be confident. And this is where they have to be able to recognize emotions and how they feel. And yes, emoticons definitely, now more than ever, people are familiar with emoticons. Everyone uses it on their phone when they're sad, they're happy, fear, anger, surprise, disgust. But that's not really what triggers people. It's when they see those emotions, those facial expressions on other people. And this resource, I will have this for you so that you can go through it and be familiar with it. But the wheel of emotion, and a lot of people, yeah, well, I know that, but when you're coaching clients, you have no idea what their connection is with emotions. But emotions change how we see the world and how we interpret the actions of others. And in particular, those facial expressions, because babies are definitely hardwired to look at facial expressions, and not just babies, but as children grow up, because their main caregivers, if they're going through all of these emotions, sadness, frown, loss of focus in the eyes, tears, smile, laughter is happiness, fear, wide eyes, tense, stretched lips, anger, glare, eyebrows drawn together, tight lips, surprise, raised brows, disgust, wrinkled nose, gagging, no eye contact. But it's not necessarily the expression, it's what that triggers in your clients. And this is a very simple activity that you can do with them. Again, they would have received this URL back in session number 3 when they created their avatar, but they can go back to the avatar and they have the head of their avatar, and then they can click on emotion for the categories, and they can go through the different emotions. And by going through the different emotions, they can connect the meaning with that. What happens when you see someone that looks like that? What happens when you see someone that's giving you that kind of a look? What does that trigger in you? What is that emotional state? If you were going to walk into a meeting and you had a meeting with people, this is what you're asking your clients, you had a meeting with people and you were to have this look on your face, how would the person react to you? Would they think of you as being confident? And would they have that connection with you? And if you had this look on your face, and this is where they can get very intentional with the emotional states that they want to trigger. If they have a big event and they don't feel confident, they can change their trigger states. They can laugh, they can get more relaxed, and laughing is definitely something that they can do ahead of time so that their face, if they're anxious or stressed, their face is going to look like this, and that's not what they want to trigger in other people. And this is where, a lot of people don't realize that their face not only triggers something in them when they've seen it in other people, but how are they showing up to meetings or important events? And that's what you want them to do. You want them to get relaxed. And that's where they would have downloaded the Just for Laughs app. And some people, they might not want to laugh, and there's other things that can relax them. And as we continue on with this course, they will learn that. But this is where they can download it on the App Store or the Google Play Store, and it's no cost. They can download it for free and connect with different resources, different people that make them laugh, and they can just get into that relaxed state. Because when they are more relaxed, then they won't have this look on their face when they go into a meeting. They will look more like this. And when people look more like this, then yes, they know that they are happy, and that is the emotion that they want to go into. Now, it's not like they want to squash all of their other emotions. They can connect with times where maybe it's more appropriate for there to be a little bit of anger when they're going into a situation where they need to be in control, but sometimes control can be taken from a place of happiness, and the results will be different. All right, have fun with this with your clients. But in step number 4, that's when you help them make the connections. Let's continue. In that last lecture, I shared with you a lot of insight about why laughing is important and all of those neurochemicals that come out. And your clients might be a little bit resistant to that because that's a state that they are not familiar with. The states of the angst, the heaviness, the anxiety, the stress, the worry. Those are states that they're more familiar with and that they connect with. However, those states are not going to move them toward being more confident and getting results in their life. They need to embrace those different states, but it's baby steps. And that's why we look at the steps. Now, in step 4, it's 10 minutes, and you got to end with events, performance, confidence steps, because they have to see that they can apply what they've just learned, and they are in charge. They get to choose the states that will empower them to move toward their goals. Now, this is the phrasing that you use. Now that you have more insight, follow these steps to apply what you have learned. The questions, I have those all mapped out for you, but they're more prepared now, and they can actually prepare and be proactive. When they are proactive, they get to choose the states that will move them toward their goal. They get to decide. And that's where you have to get them comfortable with the laughing and how it's feeling in their body and what might not be comfortable. Maybe they were told not to laugh. Maybe they come from a very serious family. And this is where they will share with you those experiences once they've answered the questions. But be proactive, be smart, be safe. And it's all about their safety. You always want them to feel safe, because if they don't feel safe, if they feel like they're going to be humiliated in any way, then they are going to fight, flight, or freeze. And you don't want that happening. So always being aware, you as the coach, the physiological responses that are happening and where they might still be stuck. I want you to write that down, always writing down notes. Now, you don't have to do it during the session, but after you finish with step number 5, after the session is done, then you can make your notes. But always being aware of how your clients might still be triggered and what they're holding on to. What trigger states are they holding on to? All right, in the next lecture, we will focus on step number 5. Let's continue. Thank you for completing this Confidence Coaching Leadership Lab. Every skill you practice here strengthens your ability to lead with clarity, confidence, and grounded presence in real-world situations. If you'd like to continue developing your human-centered leadership and coaching skills, you'll find additional resources, leadership labs, and professional training. Links in the description below. I appreciate you being here and investing in your growth as a leader.